Well, good evening, everyone. This is Tom here. Welcome to Cat Crew Wednesday on August the 13th, 2025. The year is moving right along. Let's say hello to everyone. James from Dundas Junction's here. Hey, James, glad you're feeling well. Good to see you're out and about. That's good. Ronald Renews here. Hey, Ronald, welcome. Glad to see you're in. Dwight Curley's here. Hey, Dwight, welcome. I saw your videos today. You like those sunflower sunflowers, huh? Don't have any in my yard. Let's see who else is in here tonight. We got Dave, DB Tech Dave's here. Hey, Dave, welcome. Glad you're in. And let's see. I think that's about it. Oh, and Bob is here. PK and W Model Works. Bob's here. Hey, Bob, welcome. So, got everybody that's in here so far. Nobody new came in. This Bob was the last one here. So that's good. So this is about 4 hours ago. Had a big storm here. Rained like crazy. And we had thunder and lightning for about an hour, and then it poured, and had to close all the windows so the house warmed up a bit. So I had to turn the air conditioning on and just turned it off. So I don't know how your weather is where you are, but it's been hot and sunny. And then today was the first time I saw rain through. Some came through here too, Dave. Yeah. You're near the Lehigh Valley, right, Dave? So that's where we get all our weather from. So that's a good question, James. I don't know if he is or not. Maybe he's taking the summer off or working the summer. I started printing with PETG. Seems to work out good. Yeah, I've printed a lot of things in PETG, and I got a spool of TPU, which is another type of filament too. Limerick, west side of Montgomery County. Okay, yeah, it's not too far from here. So that sounds good, Bob. Glad to hear that. Yeah, I had to visit my neurologist on Tuesday. I was supposed to have an appointment in December, but I saw my heart doctor after I got out of the hospital, and she said, no, we're not waiting until December for that. So she called around to a bunch of neurologists and then got me in earlier. So I went Tuesday. Guy was a real nice guy. We talked about other things, and but he checked me out. Everything was good, and I had a record low blood pressure for the first time. Yeah, TPU is higher melting. That's correct, Dave. Matter of fact, I can't use that on my AMS units. That brand anyway. Bamboo Labs makes a TPU, but I got an eSun TPU or eSun or Sunlu, one of those two brands. So anyway, it my blood pressure made a record low at 118/78, and going to the doctor's office, usually your blood pressure is a little high. It's called the white coat syndrome. And like when I go to my heart doctors, it's 138/80 or something like that. But when I was in there, I guess maybe it was a little more relaxed or whatever. And well, I was on a conference call with my heart doctor last week. After my blood work, she called me, just wanted to go over everything. And the blood pressure was a little bit on the high side, 138/80. So she said, change your, she's going to change my prescription for the blood pressure medicine from 5 milligrams to 10 milligrams. So I have 5 milligram pills. So I started just taking 2 until the prescription runs out. Then I'll get 10 milligram one later. So that, I think after taking that for a couple of days, dropped the blood pressure down to a normal numbers. So we're going to keep an eye on it for a while and see what happens. Then my cholesterol dropped from 170 down to 120 by taking the medication and eating a little differently. And they want to get it down to 70. So it needs to, they're going to double that medication from 40 milligrams to 80 milligrams. So I've been taking 2 of those starting yesterday after I talked to the neurologist. 124/66. 66 is a little low, James. The 124 is good, but 66 is just a little low. Heart rate 59. My heart rate is 62, and it's always 62. That's what it's set in the pacemaker, and it always is 62. If I run or something, it might go up to 65 or a little bit higher, but it's always 60. Every time I take it, it's always 61, 62, somewhere in that range. So I don't have to worry about the heart rate. Just the blood pressure is a little low. Hey, Steve 87, welcome. So today I woke up and I do my morning checks, look in the train room, make sure everything is good, everything turned off at night and all that stuff. And I come in my office and my computer had restarted. They must have had an update last night. So I said, okay. I logged in, brought up the computer, and one of my programs that I use that I keep track of all my projects is called, it's a Microsoft product called Microsoft OneNote. And you can create pages in OneNote, and then each page is a project that I use. So, like I'll have a subway system, and then underneath that, I'll have all the different sub projects underneath that. Upper level, all the sub projects under that. Like tonight, one of the pumps, oil pumps, is not working. So I put a project in there to check that one out. I have to take it down and test the motor on it, make sure the motor's good. Might have hit a wire when I was messing around with the subway system. I don't know. So they're real thin wires on that motor, and it makes it a little difficult. So, what kind of printer is that? Who got a new printer? I didn't see that. Let me go back and look. Who got a new printer? Yeah, well, that's what happens. When you get older, you got to take meds. Actually, if you would have took meds when you were younger and, or keep track of your blood pressure, you wouldn't have to take meds, but things are. The TPU is a higher melting temperature. That's right, Dave. And who got a new printer? I don't see that in there. I must have missed that one. Nice printer. Oh, Bob got a new printer. What kind of printer did you get, Bob? Oh, an Igloo CC. Okay, very good. Yeah, my first resin printer was an Igloo. And I set it all up and tried to print to it. I sent it right back to Amazon. That's when I started to get Anycubic. So my two resin printers are Anycubic, and my two filament printers are Bamboo Labs. So back to my computer thing. So I logged in, and it takes a little while to stabilize. Hey, Russ, welcome. Glad to see you in here. And so it Microsoft OneNote didn't come up. Hey, Bernard, welcome. Good to see you here. And so it wouldn't come up. So I couldn't see any of my projects, and it's going crazy, right? So I messaged a friend of mine at work that I used to work at, and I said, "Hey, is there anything going on with Office 365?" Hey, Todd Armstrong, welcome. And so they said, he replied back to me, "No, let me create a ticket for you with the error problem." And Dwight, what's the problem with your printer? So I then they closed the ticket because I don't work there anymore. And I go, ah. So then I shut down my computer, and I did what's called a check disk command with a couple of parameters. And what that does is you restart your computer, and then what it does is it checks your hard drive and fixes any errors on your hard drive. Before I shut it down, I tried to do some 3D printing, and my Bamboo Lab Studio was giving me an error saying that I just updated the software on Bamboo Labs, and it says clean out the Bamboo Labs system directory. And I'm going, what the heck is that all about? So I said, okay, one thing at a time. So I wanted to get my OneNote working. Well, on my computer, you have the taskbar that goes across the bottom of your screen. And on there's icons. Yeah, MS-DOS check this. That's right. And so it took 4 hours to run that check disk on my hard drive because I have a big hard drive. And it picks a bunch of files, came back up, and OneNote still wouldn't go. And Bamboo Labs Studio still didn't work. And I'm going, okay, it's not a hard drive problem. So, like I was saying, on the taskbar on the bottom of your computer, you have all these icons on there. And you have your clock, your speaker, your network connection, a microphone. If you have a microphone on the computer, on the left-hand side, you have the start button and some other little icons that you can use on a regular basis. So I had an icon down there for OneNote, and I would click on it, and then it kept on coming up saying, can't start, blah, 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 blah. Well, yeah, he's laying down in the back there over my other shoulder, right over there, and something by the door, he's laying down. And so I'm going, looking at it, and I'm going, maybe it's the shortcut that I created on the taskbar. So I went and opened up the program, and it didn't open either. But then I'm going, why am I opening up the Office 365 version of OneNote? I don't have Office 365 anymore. So I said, I'm running Microsoft OneNote for Windows 10 version. So I found that, opened it up, and then it came up and opened. I had to correct some files, and it did it all, fix it. Then I was back in with my OneNote. I could see all my projects again, and they're all the train-related projects I have. And then I have another OneNote thing that is for my home, things that I do in my home and stuff like that, and personal notes and stuff like that, bank account information, stuff like that. It's all kept in that OneNote program. And I have that on my iPhone, the app OneNote on my iPhone, and I can open it up and look at everything that I can see on my computer on that. They sync together in the cloud. Everything syncs. So it was strange how that didn't work. So then now I go, okay, let me fix Bamboo Lab Studio. Well, I did some research, and then somebody said uninstall Bamboo Lab Studio and delete the folder that Bamboo Lab Studio creates, because sometimes it doesn't delete it. Well, on my machine, it deleted everything. So why using OneNote, Thomas? Bob, I use it for my projects. And I have all of them in categories like soundtracks. My decoder stuff is in a folder. They're like folders in. I can present it to you if you really wanted to see it, but um, it's just a good organizer that I use. And I've used this for many years, and the program still runs. Doesn't cost me anything. I don't have to have a license for it, and it works good. Thanks, Russ. It's getting there. Yeah, the graffiti. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that in a minute after I get done with the computer thing. Then I'll talk about the subway system. So, um, so I uninstalled Bamboo Lab Studio because I was printing some subway tunnels or some tunnels for a bridge that goes into the subway tunnel. And I got three pieces that I needed to make, and I made the third one. And it was really strange. I was printing it, and I thought I was using silver, and it was really I was using the gray. So the gray filament ran out with about 1 inch to go on the print. The thing was 6 inches long, and about that wide, and it had a tunnel top on it, stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, it started printing in a different color, and I never told it to do that. I never set it up to print in two different colors, which you can do on the Bamboo Labs. It automatically, since it ran out of filament, it automatically switched over to another color to finish the print job. So I had to paint them anyway, the color I wanted, and I painted them, and they're all up there now, glued in place, so they're good to know. So, uh, so I got the Bamboo Labs back up and running after I reinstalled it. Got the printers back added on. I had to make a setting change and restart it again, and it came back up. And then I went over to the printer. That's when I found out that uh, that's when I found out that the filament ran out on the gray spool, and I need gray to make some more those tunnel tops that you see there in the tunnel for the last side. I got a couple more to make, and then I'll be done. So So that was my computer problems for today. And so the subway tunnel our panels and everything are almost done. Barbara has been painting them. We put decals on them. I put the decals on. She don't like putting the decals on, so I put the decals on, and she paints around the decals, or she just paints them. I bought her a graffiti coloring book a week or so ago, and she can almost trace them on the clear tunnel wall pieces. I have a lot of clear ones, but just put it on top of the drawing book, and you can see through it, and you can trace the images right on the screen. So that's how we get the graffiti on the walls, and I just have a few more pieces to get on there. So as I was putting up the one wall, the graffiti wall pieces on the one side of the subway system, the LED lights that are hanging there, well, they're in the clips now. It pulled out from the plug that connects the LEDs to the power supply. These LEDs come in a box from Amazon. It's 30 some feet of LEDs, and they come in two rolls of 16 point something each. And from one end to the other around, two sides, that one set of lights covers it. So it came unplugged. So I said, okay, let me go back up there and plug it in. So I had to crawl underneath, get back up in there. I plugged it in, and it wouldn't work. It didn't come on. It wouldn't work. I don't know what the heck's going on. The other lights are working, but this one wasn't working. So what did I do? I go on Amazon and order another box of the LEDs. And it said on there, will be delivered on Tuesday. Okay, this happened on Monday. Ordered it Monday, be delivered for Tuesday. I wake up in the morning, and whenever I order something from Amazon, it's going to be the next day. When I wake up in the morning, they usually send an email saying it was shipped. Well, that didn't happen with that order. So I'm going, what the heck's going on with this order? It took a long time to have any update in the order status that day. And I tell the people, it's the lights. No, they are people, Dwight. That's the camera putting a red dot on the people, because it's zooming in right on those people standing there. That's what that is. That's those red dots. They're not lights. They're red dots from the camera. That's how you'll see it every so often go up to that signal too, and it shines the light on the signal. That's not the signal's not on. That's just from the camera doing that. I haven't been able to figure out how to turn that off in the cameras yet, but one day I will. Hey Pedro, welcome. Glad to see you in here. So no activity all day long. I'm going, what the heck's going on with my order? Asking Alexa, where's my order? Oh, it's going to be here by 11 p.m. on Tuesday night. 11 p.m. It was always 10 p.m., but now it's saying 11 p.m. I don't know, what the heck's that? I look on the app, and it says this is now at 5:30 at night. The app shows some activity, and this is the Amazon app on your phones. and it shows you can track your packages and all that kind of stuff, right? So it goes and says, undeliverable package, sending back to the shipper. That was the last two messages I saw. I don't know where they tried to deliver it to, but they didn't try to deliver it to here because I didn't refuse the package. They always just drop it off at my front door. That's the standing agreement I have with Amazon. Drop it off at the front door. Another half an hour goes by, and it was attempted to be delivered in the Bronx, New York City. Now there is no such address as my address in the Bronx. Doesn't exist. I don't know why they did that. It's now 6:27 p.m. Eastern time, and the app says out for delivery at 6:27 p.m. It departed from the Bronx, New York City Amazon distribution center at 6:20. Thank you, JD, and welcome. I didn't see you come in. Thank you. So I get on a computer and I do a map trace from the Bronx to my address. And the roads are clear, and it says it'll take an hour and 45 minutes to go from the Bronx, from their address to my address. That's how this time it takes to go there. So I go, hey, what's going on? It's now 8:30. That's 2 hours after the 6:27, and still no package arrived. I asked Alexa, oh, your package will be here by 10 o'clock p.m. I look at the app again, and now it says, this is at 8:30 at evening. I look at the app, and it says, package has been returned and refund has been issued. I never authorized the package to be returned. I don't know what they did. I don't have any clue on what Amazon did that with that package yesterday. So I went on Amazon and I ordered another one. And then that one came today. So that's what I was working on before the show started, because it came at almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And in order to put that back up, it's a lot of work because I had to be careful about the tunnel tops and taking the walls off, and so I can get there to put the LED in the clips that are on the tunnel tops. So so I got one side, the end where it ends up. I started from there, working my way back, and then back to the main Y, where the two lights go around either direction, and it plugged it into that, and at least the lights are on now. And that's what you see down in this picture here. And you can see right here, there's some panels missing. That's where I'm working at right now. And then you can see the light hanging down here. That needs to be up to the seal, up to the roof, and then that'll be done. So I got about another 5 feet of tunneling to do. Yeah, that's right, Bob. No UPS this time. So that's where I'm at with the tunnel LEDs on the tunnel, and I knocked over a signal that's right down here. That signal's okay, but there's another signal down here that fell down. I gotta re-glue it and put it back up again. Yeah, back in the day you could. JD, yeah, I'm gonna download it later. Um, I'm going to download that, JD, and then I'm going to start printing that because I have a water tower on there, but it's an older style, one that Jim Tedesco gave me. So I'm gonna, and that was HO scale though, JD. It said HO scale, but when in your video you said you had to scale it down because it was going to be too big. Um, I'll look at it and see how big it looks, then I'll know. Yeah, I miss Radio Shack too. It was cool to go in there and you can get anything you wanted there. And the stores were all around. You could go to any place and you'd have a store around there. So, yeah, so um, like I said, Barbara is working on the last few pieces of tunnel. And once I get the LEDs up, then I'll have 3 sides completely enclosed with the tunnels and the tunnel tops. And then it's just the back one that I have halfway across. And I'm working on that. I need to make a couple more pieces to get that finished. Yeah, that was right. We used to get that there. And I forget. I used to have Estes rockets when I was a kid, and back in the '60s. And I don't remember where I bought them. Was it at the hobby store? Maybe in a hobby store. We had a hobby store in the town across from me, and we used to ride our bikes over to there to go to the hobby store. We used to the money that I used to make doing the papers and cutting grass and stuff. I used to buy my rockets and model railroad stuff that I used to do too. So that was as a kid. So I always bought my own stuff. Yeah, Estes rockets. Yeah, and then I designed my own. I designed the Apollo uh, spacecraft. It stood about 40 inches tall, and it had 3 stages and engines in each stage. And the command module I made out of a Coke can, cut out the latch. Put the latch in, then the nozzle. My mom gave me an old tin funnel, and that was the end of the command module. And then for my then I had to make the launch pad for it because the launch pads for the SE rockets weren't big enough for that. And I took it to school for a science project, and I put 3 mice in the command module and shot them up. 2 of them died on the way up, but the other one survived. So the rocket went up about 3,000 feet, and then then the command module, each stage had its own parachute also. And then it came down on the parachute, so I could reuse the thing again. Yeah, that's right. So that was my younger days, and kids today, they don't do any of this stuff. They rather just sit in the house and play their video games and tablets and watch TV and not do any fun stuff. So we used to take the SD rockets had a smaller one. It was only maybe 12 inches long and maybe about an inch in diameter. And we used to put M80s in there. And then we would launch them out, and then they would explode. It was pretty cool stuff. Hey, Derek, welcome. How you doing? Glad to see you're in here. So that was that. And then my last video I put out was about my NCE system that I have behind me. This one right here on this desktop. I have the PCP board here, and then I have the USB interface here. And it connects with a coil cable, and then this connects USB to the computer, and then I can configure all my engines here. And 26 engines to do. They're all soundtrack decoders. 26 engines of them. So I only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them done out of the 25, because the day after I did that video, I couldn't get any track power anymore. And I go, what the heck's going on? And the power cab, let's see, my sons have great memories of racing battery powered cars at local hobby shop. Yes, that's correct. Got to go out and do things. Can't just hang around at the house all the time. 6th grade science class, yeah. Yeah, it was 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade for me. That was, well, I graduated from 8th grade in 1969. Went to high school, and I was a freshman in high school in 1970. So, good times then. Yeah, well, we used to dig holes in hills and make caves. Like, we used to crawl in there, and then we would come up through the top, have a way to come down from the top and out to the side. And then we used to take 22s, little 22 bullets, put it on a rock and hit it with a hammer and let the bullet go in. Well, if it ever hit a rock and bounced back to us, we'd probably been dead or hit in the eye or something like that. But nothing ever happened. We were pretty lucky. We had a lot of fun as kids. We always goof around, stuff like that, Halloween, tic-tacking, and all that kind of stuff. All good fun. Not today. So anyway, back to this guy. So I was taking my power cap from here to my workbench out in the train room, and I was using it out there, used to do testing and stuff like that. And that test table gets full of stuff all the time because I'm working on projects. So that's why I put this here, so I can do engines in here, and it allows me to use Decoder Pro on my computer here. And when I save the files here, then the computer in the train room that runs JMRI can access the same folder as I'm accessing here to save the engine files. Then I can put it in the JMRI engines table a lot easier. The other one, I had to put it on a USB, copy it, move it over. Yeah, that's a pain in the neck. So this is a lot better. So I then plugged it into the one out there, and it wasn't working. So it was a bad cable on the power cap. So I contacted Art Houston. You guys know Art Houston. He's a YouTuber. And him and I, he helped me make some cables before, and then he helped me get the right stuff, and I made my own cables. But the pinning for the power cap is different than the pinning for the NCE cab bus. So he was going to make me one, but then I saw a YouTube video of a guy who found these coil cables that work with the power cap. So this is a coiled cable. It's not flat, it's coiled. See, coiled, right? And I plugged the power cap into it and plugged the other end into the port on the PCB board, and still no power to my tracks here. I took the same thing out to my workbench, plugged it in, and I have track power on there. Everything works. So I was going to order another power cap. So I have one in here and one out there because I hate unplugging and plugging in. The more times you do that, the more chance of a problem. One guy said, check the pinning on your power cap, and it worked when I plugged that cord in and plugged it into the other one. So it works fine. So I ordered on eBay another power cap starter set. I found one cheaper than what they're going for. And he shipped it out, and it'll be here on Friday. So it comes with everything. So I'll see. Because I changed the PCP board, I changed the power supply, and still wouldn't get track power. And it's funny how on the NCE power cap, the screen, when you plug your NCE power cap in, it shows you the cab address, and then another screen comes up, and then the last screen is the last engine that you entered into your power cap. And that was coming all the way up to that screen. And that's when you would get the system is available to use. But no. Well, I don't know, Bob. The order that I ordered from eBay was given to the post office today. Hey, Kyle Stevens, welcome. How you doing? Was put in, given to the post office today. The post office accepted it, and then the post office shipped it out to the distribution center in Maryland somewhere, and it's hopefully it'll be here on Friday. So we'll see. Tomorrow morning when I wake up, it should be in a different place. It doesn't take 5 days to drive from Maryland. It's in a town near Baltimore, somewhere outside of Baltimore, on the west side of Baltimore. That's where it's coming from. So it takes me 3.5 hours from my house to get to Baltimore. Little less than 4 hours, depending on traffic, what time of the day it is. So used to go all the way out Pennsylvania to get on 83 south and go into Baltimore that way. Now I go through Philly and go down to Baltimore that way on 95. So either way I can go, and it's always that way. So, this past weekend, I went to a train show. It was the Greensburg train show. It was held in Edison, New Jersey. So I took Barbara with me. She was never to a train show before, and she bought some Thomas the Train things for her grandson. He liked that. He liked that stuff when she gave it to him. And there was a ton of vendors there. And all I saw was Lionel this, Lionel that. And I go, And then I was a little disappointed because they only had like one room with a couple of layouts. Now, the layouts were nice that they had there, but I don't think they had enough layouts there. I don't know why. The place is pretty big, but there was wall-to-wall vendors. If you needed anything, that was the place to be. It was a train and toy show, and there was a bunch of stuff for everybody. So it was nice. So I was just browsing around. She was looking for the Thomas the Train stuff for her grandson and stuff like that. I was just browsing around, and I found some oil tank cars, and they were like $3, $5, and this and that. Then I went around the next aisle, and then I found some that were, $10 and $15, but they already had metal wheels and Katie couplers on it. So I said, for a couple more dollars, I'll get the ones that I don't have to change anything in them. And so I got 6 of them there, and then I gave me a good deal for buying the 6 of them. So then I got those. So they're on the Helix already, waiting to be used, and that's right. Let's see, I want to get the right row. Yeah, these here, this row here. There's 6 of them there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tank cars. So I got 28 tank cars sitting on the Helix. Are those yellow stripes on the subway system? Yes. The yellow stripes on the subway, yeah, that's the electrical conduit on the subway. Let me get back to that screen. Yeah, those yellow that's a conduit. I 3D printed all that, Russ. They go all the way around. That's what provides the electrical power to the subway system. And for the fans, there's a couple of fans there, and I put the string there so you can see it working, because it goes too fast, you can't see it on the camera. So yeah, so I have 28 tanker cars, and on the train I already have 14, so that's a total of 42 tanker cars or something like that. So it's gonna be a big train, but some of them I'll use to put at the filling stations and the oil refinery, stuff like that. So I'll work them in for the operations and stuff. But I got to run them up the Helix to make sure the wheels and everything are okay before I put them on the train, stuff like that. So yeah, so it's been a busy week, and so Tuesday when I went to the doctor's office, the neurologist, I stopped at Barbara's house. She had a couple of tiles done for me, so I picked them up and I brought them home when I came home from the doctor's office. But I couldn't put them up because they're for the sections where the LEDs are. So now that I got the LED almost down, the one in this lower window here, this one right here, this window here, once I get the LEDs all the way up there, Barbara has, there's a missing tile here, and it goes around the camera. So I got to put them pieces up. She has those pieces. So, but I think probably by my next show, those will be all done. That I can run those trains up there, stuff like that. So I have the camera car on my subway train, and I'm going to run that inside there and see what it looks like from a camera's view. See how that video comes out. Maybe I'll make that my that video my introduction video to my streams and my outro video to my streams if it comes out. But we'll see. So that's what the plans are. And so it's a long time with this subway system. Yeah. 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 She likes to paint, and she paints the people for me, stuff like that. She loves to paint, so that's what's good. So, and so it's that's what helps a lot. So I used to paint for people and stuff, but then she says she likes to paint, so she does all the painting for me. Makes it a lot easier. And like decals, like some of the panels, we just put total decals on it. Yeah, that's a lot of place of trouble. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, and then what I ordered also from Evans Design, a flickering yellow LED, 3mm LED. That's gonna go here. Let me see if I can bring that up here. This one. Okay. That's supposed to be a fire, that red flashing. But I want to put yellow in there to make it look more like a fire. Yellow and red colors. So once I get that in, then I will have that light in there. What's nice, I can take the panels down and then just insert the light through the same hole as the red light is and connect it to the same wires. And then it'll just flicker yellow and red. So, so that's that. And then once the subway system is done, then I can start working up on the fifth level and getting those trains running up there. So it's there's a lot of work to do up there, and landscaping wise and stuff like that. At the train show, I got an idea on how I want to work that wall up there, and it looked nice the way they had done it. So I'm going to try and simulate that. Also, I noticed at the train show, the guys had power, telephone poles with power lines going through them, like I have on my layout. And I looked at it and I go, what is that material that you're using? Because I used black thread on my telephone poles all the way around. Okay, good night, Steve. Thanks for stopping in. We'll catch you later. Yeah, always have work to do. I know. Take care. Don't work too hard, Steve. Thanks for stopping in again. So, what they used was elastic, what you'd use for beads. You put the through beads, and then you put it around you, and you have beads and stuff. Not easy line. It's called elastic line, um, and they have it in white and black colors. So we're going to go to Hobby Lobby and see what they have, and hopefully they have a roll of black. And then, because what he told me what I asked him about it. I said, "Hey, what is this?" He says, "It's this elastic we use to make jewelry and stuff." And he said, "What was happening is we used to use the thread, but the thread was tight, and when you push it, the pole would come down or it would come off the pole." And I've had that happen here. I'm working in an area and I bump the wire and boom, the pole comes out of its position, or it's glued into the layout, but still it comes out. So with the plastic, it gives. So I'm going to change all the wires. That'll give the work crew something to do, putting the new power lines up. But I looked outside my house, and all the power lines here are black. So I'm going to use black, the color black. I think the black shows up when you're looking at the layout for the power lines. So on the transmission lines that I put up on the layout, I used a thicker black thread. Yeah, power out. Yeah, that's going to happen for a while, but that's just the way it is. So maybe another little project. I looked at, I saw those rolls on Amazon, but I'm not happy with Amazon deliveries right now. Yeah, that's right. You can see it from pole to pole. It goes like this. I worked on those high transmission power lines when I was 20, 21 years old. A company I worked for, we designed those gray things you see look like little circles. They're called stress cones, and we designed those. I was in engineering department, and we get to go out and on the field and test our equipment and stuff like that. So yeah, there you go. Russ, an O scale. What is he, about that big? Yeah, they're not pulled tight. Well, I had to pull it tight on some spots, like where I take the telephone pole and cross over tracks. I want the engine or cars to hit them, so I pulled it a little tighter there. But with the elastic one, it'll be a lot better. So I'm gonna. Shouldn't take me long to redo all the wires, and then go into the houses too, because sometimes I bump a house, and then the wire comes off of um, the pipe that I have it going down to, that goes down to the electric meter. That's all I glued onto the house, and all those things were 3D printed, and so it's all it is super glued onto the top of the pole, and then it goes up to the pole, to the power line. And sometimes they pop off because you move a building to work on it or clean something, and that was that. Okay, 6 foot is about an inch and a half tall, Thomas. Inch and a half tall. Okay, so that's about that much. About an inch and a half. That's about an inch and a half. That's pretty big. I think I 3D printed um, Dave in O scale for Dave. Didn't I give you an O scale, Dave, on yourself? You have one. I printed you HO and O scale ones that time for you. I think it was. Because you're on my layout, Dave. I got you up there with me at the farm. See if I can bring that up. There's a combine. There's the chickens. There's a house. And it's going to be tough to see the cameras. The camera might focus. But that's me on the left and Dave on the right. Hi, Tammy and Ray. Welcome. Never late. Never late. So, first time I tried to model during extremes, it says got all parts for an A-line auto transporter trail took off trees and cleaned up. Now, simply shout. Sounds good, Bob. So, um, you really can't see the chickens pecking, but they are. There's about 6 chickens on that, and they automatically peck at the feed. So I can hear it when I'm out there in the training room. I can hear them. So, but yeah, that's Dave and me talking. Yeah, that's tough to move a layout, especially when you don't want to destroy anything if you can. Is it modular, Russ? My layout staying right where it is, not going nowhere. I can add on if I want to, but that's down the road if I need to. No, unfortunately, yeah. Yeah, mine's not. Mine is sort of modular, but it, I could probably take it apart easily. I just have to disconnect a couple of tracks because each section is connected, and you just have to disconnect the track. That's all. And the upper levels, they're screwed to the walls, and they could be unscrewed and taken out as one section. So, but no plans to do that. Just expand, maybe. That's all. I got something in the back of my head that I'm thinking I want to do. And yeah, and through the window. Yeah. Hey, you do what you have to do, right? Does it go outside, Dave, or is it inside the house through a window that was inside the house? Your new work measurement module. Yeah. If you have to move every once in a while, that's the best way to do it. Because at the train show, those guys are everything is all modular, right? And I was showing that to Barbara. I said, "Look, see how they do this? This is a section. That's how they can put it in the van and go home. You know, they don't have a whole layout and be there permanent. It's temporary. So that's how it works." Let's see. I talked about that stuff. Oh, like I was telling you before, how I got my Bamboo Lab studio to work. And I wanted to print some tunnel pieces, and then I found out that the gray was ran out. And I know I bought 2 spools of gray film the last time I bought gray, 2 of them, and it's inside. I couldn't get it down the hall and around the corner. Yeah, Okay, I get you. So, but I couldn't find it at spool, and I go, maybe I used it all already. So, junk email this guy. It came. Then I opened up the bins that I created to store all my film in, so it's not exposed to the outer air. Uh, and it was gray, and then I looked at the label, and it was TPU, so I couldn't put that in my AMS unit. I could run that on the A1 as an external spooling device, or I can run it on the A1 Mini because that's only an external. Yeah, so that's yeah. So I didn't know. So then I said I need gray to print the rest of the tunnel pieces for the subway system, and I don't have enough silver. Silver is pretty close to the gray color. Would make no difference. Can't tell the difference in that area, but I didn't have enough silver to do it. So I said, okay. So I ordered a spool of gray filament from Amazon. It was pretty cheap, like $13 for a, a good brand name. Yeah, that's what I plan to do, Bob. It was funny. Um, where the train is right now, um, this train here, where I'm pointing to, has the car that can hold the camera on it. And I was working on these tunnel pieces to put the LEDs up there going down. So I pushed the train back and it stopped. I couldn't push it. Who's holding it? Here, the camera car was hitting the one wall that I put up. So I had to move out the wall about a quarter of an inch. I just put a filler in the bottom to push it out. Now the car goes there. And that was at that train station. So I got to run it around and see how it works. Make sure it runs on the train first, because I'm not going to put my what camera is that on there? Uh, what's the camera that I can't remember the name of the camera I got. That's a bigger one. It's like this tall. It's not a GoPro. It's an EV3 or something like that. And it's too. I don't want to try running it in there. It's too big. It runs on the rest of the layout. I'll use that for running the trains on the lower and upper level, but not in the subway. I got another uh, cam camera that I used in the beginning of doing the videos on the train. And then, yeah, it'll be really cool to see all of the walls and the graffiti, which the camera can't see. That's what I'm interested to see how it looks as it's going down. Hopefully, it gets enough view to see that. So I'm putting it on the front of the train, and we'll see how that goes. So yeah, it is. Yeah, I'll create that, and then I'll put that video out. Hopefully before the next show. Then we can run the train around and you should see it, the training on all 4 of these cameras. That's why I put that or 2 in recently. So they work really well. These SV3C cameras are all hardwired, except for the last 2. They're Wi-Fi cameras. All the other 6 are wired, and no USB. So all 8 cameras are on the screen, and I can show them all on my sharing my other monitor, which has this program up and running. So it's good to have all 8 cameras showing at the same time. I was trying to use OBS to do this. To run it from my office here, I would need 30+ foot USB cables. They cause all kinds of problems and stuff like that. So I just want to thank everybody for coming in tonight. I appreciate you all. Good crowd tonight. Glad everybody made it in here. Hope everybody has a great week, and we'll catch you all real soon. Enjoy the rest of your week, and thanks for stopping in. I'll catch you later. Take care. Good night. Hey, Sparky. Catch you later. Thanks a lot. Good night.